Rev up your engines!
Well, so much of this driver assistance crap, right? Mazda just recalled 10,000 2024 CX-90 hybrids because the driver assistance isn't working and they're braking when they're not supposed to. They think something's in front of them and it brakes. Now, I had a customer had that happen to him with a Jeep. It stopped on the highway and it got rear-ended. I thought the bridge shadow was a truck or something, right? These things don't work correctly a lot. These are brand new cars, 2024. Obviously, the software is not too hot, right? But people depending on these systems, they're not going to be perfect. But how'd you like to be in a car you got rear-ended? Because your car decided it's time to brake itself. It thinks there's something there. You know? And as usual, Mazda says, oh, updated software will fix it. You know, there's nothing wrong with the machine. Well, there's something wrong with the machine. It's stopping when it shouldn't, right? They put these systems out. They're not perfected. People think that they're going to save them. And in this case, they can make your car get in a wreck because it'll stop itself driving down the road because it thinks a shadow or something is a car, a truck, a person. Then it decides to stop itself. Come on, people. This is just, we've gotten to a point where if you got a system and it doesn't work right, don't sell it to the public. And don't sell it like Elon and his full self-driving when it isn't full self-driving. They should make a law that you can't name something that it doesn't do. People need to realize these systems don't work all that well. I was driving a Toyota the other day, road testing it, right? And it had one where it's driving down the road. So I take my hands off, it's driving down the road. And it was fine until it got to the curve and there wasn't paint on the other side yet and it ran right to a tree. So I had to grab it and turn it out of the way. You can't trust these systems. Well, we all know that these Fiat 500s are kind of junky. Now they got the 500e, but they're out of their minds pricing them. One, they're too expensive, but their leases are even worse. Look at this. The 2024 Fiat 500e has a lease price of $414 for 36 months with a down payment of $38.19, including the first month's payment. You put that across 36 months, that comes out to an effective cost of $520 a month, okay, for that stupid little electric car. Guess what? Hyundai Kona EV, it's $242 a month. Less than half. Why on earth would you ever lease that piece of crap Italian Fiat 500 electric vehicle for all that money when you could get a Hyundai for less than half the price, right? And the Hyundai electric vehicles have been out longer. They've been out a while. And they've been making even good hybrid cars, Hyundai, for a long time. So, now, I'm not a Hyundai fan either, but on the other hand, this is a lease. You don't have to pay for repairs. So, if you were buying it, I'd say don't buy that stupid thing. But if you don't mind leasing, what the heck? It's their car. You don't own it. The electronics go out. They're the ones that have to fix it under warranty, not you. All that money, $540 for a stupid little electric Fiat. It just wouldn't make any sense to lease the stupid 500e. What are these people thinking? Do these people have any management capabilities and still honest and Fiat doing stuff in the United States, asking that kind of money for such a crappy little car? Well, guess what? They're not going to make them just electric. They're going to put gasoline diesel motors in them too. They're doing their about face. They're finding out real fast. You know, these electric cars, people don't seem to like them that much. We better go back to putting gas and diesel engines in these Fiat 500s too. You know, they all talked about, oh, it's a little electric car. It's going to save the planet. Well, if nobody buys them, it's not going to save anything, right? So to save themselves as a company, Fiat decides we're going to make gasoline and diesel ones again too. Now, in North America, as it stands now, they only sell the electric version. Who knows if they're going to bring the gasoline version back? But who cares? The last year that they sold gasoline Fiat 500s in the United States, I don't know, they sold 75 of them or something. Nobody wants those rolling piles of crap in the United States, right? And now they're worried, hey, in Europe, they might not want the electric version either. So we'll go back, we'll start making the gasoline and diesel ones again too. All this fantasy stuff about us buying electric cars is starting to unravel like a cheap sweater. Talk the talk, follow the money. The money says, even Fiat's saying, we're going to have to make gasoline ones too. Nobody wants these electric piles of crap. All right, I can't help but laugh at this. Check these old white guys smiling away in their little outfits, right? Aurora and Volvo unveil self-driving truck designed for a driverless future. I keep thinking, why do you want to get rid of the drivers? These guys make a living. That's what they do. You know, it keeps America going. Go on the highway. You see trucks everywhere. That's how we get everything. We are a truck society, right? But these rich white guys, hey, if we can make trucks that drive themselves, we can fire all the truck drivers and put more money in our own pockets. Look at that. And we can sell them really expensive electric trucks too. They don't care. They're only out for themselves to make money, right? They'd love to get rid of all the workers, right? And then they could keep all the money from themselves. So we'll end up with a society of few million and billionaires on the top, then a bunch of poor people on the bottom living like pigs. Kind of like England in, the 5th century. My lord, can we have some of your pig swill, please? Look at their smiling faces and thinking, yeah, we're going to keep all the money for ourselves, not give any of it to the truck drivers. These people have vested interests here. Besides, the whole thing of electric self-driving trucks is stupid. You got to have people. They're going to try them out. Guess how they're trying them out? With the driver behind the wheel for safety reasons, right? I mean, if they want to have systems that help a driver, yeah, I'm all for that if they work, right? You got a driver there too. But having these things drive themselves, the only reason they want to make them is so they don't have to pay the truck drivers. They just want to keep it all for themselves. Well, here's one reason you shouldn't sleep in your car. A nurse was sleeping in her car and drove off the top floor of a hospital parking garage. She's lucky she's alive. She did break her back, though. This is at Faulkner Hospital in Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts. Now, they work these nurses like mad, so she didn't have much time, so she decided rather than drive home, sleep like come back, she went in her Jeep on the top floor and slept there, which is against hospital policy. They say, well, you're supposed to give them a bed, you know how that goes. They have rules, but then there's probably no bed for her to sleep in. Well, she slept, and she said she woke up at 1 o'clock, because how can you sleep in a parking lot with all these lights glaring? She woke up and decided she's going to move it to a place where it doesn't shine as much. And she said, gee, I guess I stepped on the gas instead of the brake, and she flew off the parking lot and landed down. Almost killed herself, right? Well, if you're waking up, this is one reason you don't want to sleep in your car. Going on, you wake up, you turn in the car, you step on the gas. Who knows what's happening? You're not awake yet. Hey, if I wake up in the middle of the night because I got to pee or get a drink of water, right? I'm kind of stumbling around. I'm certainly not going to be in any shape to drive for at least a few minutes, You really shouldn't sleep in your car unless it's totally disabled and you make a point of not starting the thing up until you totally wake up, have some Red Bull or a cup of coffee or something. That's why you don't want to sleep in your car, because you sleep in your car, you're in the car, you're going to wake up, what are you going to do? You're going to start driving, right? And that's not a good thing. You need to eat something, have something to drink, some caffeine, something. So don't sleep in your car. It's not a good idea, especially if you're in some area that's dangerous, somebody break the window, rob you, steal your car. No, sleeping in a car is not a good thing. All right, here's this plus-size influencer. If you remember, she's the one who said, oh, you regular thin people, you should pay for extra seats for us super-sized people, right? Not, hey, maybe I should pay for it because I got too big, right? No, but now guess what? She got stuck in a revolving door in the Chicago airport. Hey, something tells me if you get stuck in a revolving door, maybe it's time to lose some weight, right? But the funniest thing of all was, despite not requiring a wheelchair for mobility issues on a day-to-day basis, she decided to use one as she went through the airport. Then she gets stuck in a revolving door. Numero uno, honey. You don't seem to know much of anything, right? They always have the electric doors for people in wheelchairs. You should have used that. Why did you go in a revolving door? You got enough problems with your sides fitting in seats. Anybody with a wheelchair knows they got the doors that open for the wheelchairs to get in and out. All the hotels, everybody's got them, right? But she decided to go in the revolving one instead with a wheelchair and got stuck. I don't know. It just amazes me. I find it absolutely hilarious, though. She puts this thing like, where, they didn't help at the airport, right? Where. Most of the comments that she got on her posts were like, hey, lady, you got a problem. Don't blame it on society. It's our whole society now. If there's something going on with your life that's messed up, see what you can do to make things better. Don't think society is going to change itself to fit whatever problem you have created yourself. Hey, I feel sorry for people in accidents. Bad things happen. They're in a wheelchair. Hey, that's one of the worst things that can possibly happen to somebody. Not their own fault. Unless they were a drunk driver and they ran into somebody, then they ended up in a wheelchair, in which case it is their fault, right? I have no sympathy for people who let themselves get out of control and then think society should evolve itself because they didn't take care of themselves. I don't understand this, right? You don't want to promote unhealthy lifestyles. Come on now. Yeah, of course, media does. McDonald's ads are everywhere. Look at that guy who made the Supersize movie. He died when he was 53 or something. Maybe it had to do with eating all those hamburgers for a month. Who knows? They're certainly not good for you as regular sustenance, but they spend a fortune advertising to make America the fattest people on the planet, right? No, we need to change away from it. We don't need to say, oh, that's okay, that's great, that's beautiful. Well, humans weren't made that way, and guess what? You You're going to have heart attacks, strokes, get diabetes. I just talked to a doctor in Boston, and he told me he is so shocked at the amount of obese people he has to deal with now. And it's because they were just allowed to go along. They weren't told this is a bad thing, and then now poof, he's got to deal with them, and they're dying when they're young. They're having arms and legs amputated from diabetes. And he said if only somebody would have gotten to them when they were younger and helped them out with exercises and feel better about themselves, and not just say, go ahead, eat as much as you want, get as big as you want. It's not a good thing, people. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.